Alright guys, so we're printing parts. We let the good printers do that. And then we're changing parts. So I'm going to open up this ender. And I'm going to film this just to show you guys how to swap out a computer. Let's see, is this the one that I wanted? Yeah, so I repaired this one. The capacitor was knocked off the board. So we're going to get in here. I should probably record this at a fast speed, but I'll just let you watch the boring details as I take apart this ender. There's going to be a top screw on the top. You get your Allen key here. I don't know what size it is. Something small. One of the smaller ones. You're going to have a longer one right there. And then one here. And then one here. And then this cover comes off of here. And your fan's right there. You kind of just set this over here. Or somewhere. Okay, so see if I can get in here and show you. Hopefully, step by step. So, everything's going to be kind of labeled, and if it's never been out before, everything's going to be glued in, okay? So, the wires here that we need to make sure that we get correct are all these ones here, okay? You get any of those wrong and you're going to be in trouble. So there's a couple of screws on the board. We're going to start by just pulling certain stuff. This is for the display. Get that out of the way. Or however. What I should do is test all my other displays with this as it's hooked up. So I think I might actually do that right now. I'm just going to pause the video and come back because I need to test some displays. Alright, I tested all my old displays. None of them worked. Even the old style ender don't work. So I think also if you want to upgrade these boards, because I think that's why the Ender 3 Pro that I got had a different display, because it has this board in it. So anyway, so we're going to remove this board. There's going to be a screw here, and it's just going to be a little bit difficult getting to these for a minute. If you can afford to get T-handles, Allen keys, I like those if you're going to be working on stuff like this a lot. So I'm going to go in here and we'll loosen these while I'm in here. But you need to keep in mind that the red is to the right in most cases. And if I can get this other board to work, I can flash the regular firmware on this, and I'll be able to go back to using the stock firmware, and then I can get the Sonic pad working. So, otherwise, I like the firmware that's on here, the professional firmware, but it's also got some issues where it's not exactly correct for this printer because it's for the V2, and I finally discovered what the differences are. And the difference is the nozzle is in a different place on the print head. It uses a different hot end completely. I don't know what the classification of it is or what they call it. But it's got a crazy heat sink on it. I thought about just undoing this fan because it's kind of in my way. Let's see here. Alright. Now with these out of the way, what I like to do is eliminate the first one that's holding us back from being able to get in here. This is going to be our Z. So we'll take our new board, our old board, and we'll go ahead and put it in here to the Z. Actually, maybe we should do, now make sure you're doing this correctly, because left to right's not always normal. Okay, so we got Z, Y, and X. Okay. And then we have here some fan and 24-volt deal. And we have the probe. And we have these other ones. I'm gonna go ahead and get the fan. I'm also not liking this right here, so let's see if I can. I want this clip off of here. I'm tired of wrestling these wires, and I'll probably have to get in here again. So I want this zip tie out of here. I always try and save them, but in this case, you know, I'm risking stabbing myself in the finger with a razor blade. I'm gonna go ahead and clip it. This allows me a little bit more room to get all this crap out of here. Okay, so heard a funny noise from the printer over there. Okay. We got that one. It says 24 volt, but it's some other type of fan. I'm not really sure. This is our probe. Okay. And then what's this one? TH thermistor, I guess. So then we got TB. Come on, man. Those do not want to come out. It is a thermistor hot end and thermistor bed. What the hell? I really wish they wouldn't glue these things, because it's not necessary. These are not going to fall out. Okay, so this is Y. And when they glue these, they're really hard to remove, and they sometimes you'll have to try and peel the glue off, because as you've seen, I'm having trouble with them after the fact. Okay, so now we got to guess what was what. Alright, so this is going to be power in. Just gotta make sure that I'm using this the right way. Some of these, it's hard to tell which way it clamps down on the wire. You'll know when you go to tighten it and it just doesn't tighten because you actually thought you were putting it in there and you weren't. Okay, so these other wires here all tangled up. This one does actually mark the positive on the back of here underneath. Some of them don't. So this board, I think Dave tried to flash it with something and probably just the wrong firmware. It didn't like it, and so it just beeps when you turn it on. But I think I've learned something recently, and I think that this board might be good. And I think that I might have knocked the capacitor off actually when I was removing it. Let's see. For some reason, these seem to be wrong. That says fan, that says bed, and these are big thick wires. Hold on. So I'm pretty sure I got these in the wrong spot. So what I'm going to do is consult my piece of paper here. That came with this. Yeah, those are in the wrong spot because I just it seemed like the wires wanted to fit there, and they're the other way around. Yeah, I remember now. Always got to double check my work. Okay. It's interesting how there's no polarity on the bed. I guess it's just a big induction coil. It doesn't matter. Okay. So then the fan, which it just says 24 volt, it's not labeled, but the fan is right here. Like, why is that not labeled what it is? Seems a little stupid to me. And then this is the other heater, which is the one that comes straight down from your hot end. So I'll be having to do this again tomorrow when I do the direct drive conversion, because I'll be removing the entire hot end assembly and print head and extruder. Assuming I don't get some more crap from Amazon that somebody else has returned and taken parts out of. I mean, somebody returned that extruder and they kept what they wanted. They kept the gear and they kept the couplers. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't an accident, but whatever. Who cares? Unless, you know, Amazon says, hey, you're stuck with this crap. Which anything's possible anymore. Amazon customer service has really, really gotten bad. I'm just not interested in arguing with Chinese people on the phone. And that's who answers the phone every time I call now. I don't get anybody in the United States. I don't get anybody in the UK. I don't get anybody in Europe. I get a bunch of Chinese people who don't care and get in trouble if they do anything nice. So, of course they're not going to do anything for you. I'm trying to think of what the rest of these connections are here. Okay, we got thermistor, the hot end, thermistor, the bed. We got Z, Y, and then we've got X and something else. And those are, in the case of this, there isn't anything because, well, there should be. There wouldn't be any Z, because it measures the Z with the sensor, the touch sensor. I don't know. I'm trying to look at this here and see. So it's an X limit switch and something else. The other one's not used, so we still, I think I still have a connector here floating around. Where'd it go? Alright. Is there really no X? That seems strange. Let me just double check I didn't plug one of these in the wrong spot. That's X right there. Right. So I accidentally plugged all of these in the wrong spot because these boards are different, I think. So this should be X. Okay. And if you can't tell, you can trace the wires. I know it's a pain, but you can do it. Better to do it now than later. This is Y. And then next to Y would be Z. So we don't have a Z wire because we're using this. So the V2, the Ender 3 V2 has one there because it doesn't have a touch sensor. Okay, let's check everything else. We've got E for extruder. Z. Y. And then X. So we're good. So now I can go ahead and see if it does anything before I really get far with it. Okay. Okay, so we definitely heard it squeal. So what I'm going to do now is I've got a card here and we're going to put it in here. I don't know which way it is supposed to be. And we've got the factory firmware on here. And we'll go ahead and turn this thing on. See what it does. So we still have the same problem. So I'm not sure what's wrong with this, but I was able to flash the professional firmware to it, but I cannot flash the factory Ender software to it. I don't know why. So I don't need this board. I don't want to use it if I don't have to. Not in this printer. It'd actually be better to be in this one because this one actually got supported with that. This one never did. Creality does some weird crap. So let's have a look here and see if this is using something different. This is the, I think I know what the issue is now. It's got the Giga device. Okay. And this has the ST. So you need to have the Giga device firmware or it won't work. So we'll try this again. Because I want to run the Sonic pad on this, and I need to have the correct board and the correct firmware to start with. It would not flash it with that board. So we're basically on the Creality website here, and here's also the GitHub one I was talking about for the professional, and it flashed it no problems. So we just need to find out on Creality's website, well, what the hell difference is it? So they're only giving me a few choices, and so there's the Chinese and English, the Japanese and English. It'll say right here when you highlight that. So we're going to try one of these other ones. So we have 5 different ones. 1, 2, 3. Well, we have 4 different ones. This has the filament one. We don't have that one. See, there's also another version down here. Version 1.1.5, 1.1.7, and I don't know if that's like 1.1.4 is what this had. So that makes sense. So, but that's the software version, and this is the hardware version. So I'll try a few other things. Well, I better not tell Dave. So I was able to get it on here. It was the Japanese version. The 1.1.14 is very close to the other version. So where's it at? So it's the second one here. So if you're having problems, this is the one here that I used. It's possible that this other one might also work too. It is the 9-language version. So then if that doesn't work, then you have this other one here, unless you have the filament sensor. But this first one did not work for me. So anyway, we've got it running. We're going to go ahead and put it back together, and then we'll try and get the Sonic pad going. So, and then as much as I like the professional firmware, it puts my print head in a funny spot on the board. So I just can't use it. So I've tried everything. Not everything, but I've tried a lot, and I'm just frustrated with it. And it's not really what I want to use this printer for anyways. So anyway. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps.